you ready? Alright, I gotta change the screen, don't I? What's up, everybody? I'm sorry, Creepers and Geekers, Chris the Retro Creep. How's everyone doing today? Don't forget about that. I don't know why I pointed out that first thing. Little corn for you on a non-7 string, non-tuned down guitar. How'd that sound in perfect 440 pitch? So, give me one moment. I must reply to a comment that is time sensitive. All right. No, I'm giving a whole bunch of stuff away on the Melrose Free Facebook group. There's a baggie of something. This guy, he's interested, so I wanted to get back to him while I could. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not in a good mood today. I know I was mad the last time we did, but that was because of very specific circumstances. Today I just woke up in a fucking down mood. You know, I think a lot of it had to do with I almost wasn't able to do this. Well, I mean, I guess I could have just done it on my phone, but for some reason, Wi-Fi was non-existent on my computer. Everything else was going. Everything else was jiving. I plugged it in directly. Everything was good. So I opened up the back, and I just pulled the Wi-Fi card, or whatever the fuck it's called, a network adapter, I don't know. Pulled it out, kind of cleaned off the contacts, kind of like what we do with our cartridges. I was very careful not to fuck with the antenna wires. Oh my God. You fuck with those things, and you're all done. And I just popped it right back in very carefully. Seemed to have done the trick. Actually, I think the little antenna wires, I don't know if they're soldered down or popped into something. I'm pretty sure they're soldered down. But either way, I kind of touched them. Just like, I might have reseated it properly. I don't know. Play your favorite Pearl Jam song. Meme activated. I don't have a favorite Pearl Jam song. Because I fucking hate them. And you know what? A lot of times when I don't like a band, it really, no, it would have a lot to do with the band itself, but oftentimes it's because of the group of individuals that surround themselves with that band. And Pearl Jam, I not only can't stand the music, and a lot of it has to do with Eddie Vedder. I think as a band, I think their guitar player and everyone is talented. They know what they're doing. They play very well. I don't know, maybe it's just something to do with fucking Eddie. I don't know, maybe it's his personality, maybe it's his sound. But I've also noticed that a lot of the folks I know personally that are diehard, and I mean like the diehard fucking people, they're kind of fucking dipshits. They're pretentious pricks. They're friends of mine. I don't mind saying that. They make it impossible for me to enjoy. Because whenever I hear, I think of them, and it makes me say, you know what? I'm never going to Papagenos with that person ever again. That's a very specific episode. We have this one friend that whenever we go out with them, and we haven't in a long time, there's always a fucking problem. It doesn't matter if we go out to eat, right? God for fucking bid, you go to any eating establishment with this fucking person, there is always a problem. And it's always if it is even a real problem, which more times than not, it's really a non-issue, a non-controversy, if you will. It's usually a real simple solution. But they just want to keep bitching about it and keep bitching. And to the point where the person behind the counter is just like, well, what do you want me to do? I just offered to fix it for you. And they just keep going on about it. And then later on, they'll be complaining about it all fucking night long. And then it'll be all over Facebook. And it's like, they forgot your french fry. You had more ready to go. Get the fuck out of here. I want to talk to corporate whenever I hear that. When I had a sandwich shop, I used to love hearing that. I want to talk to corporate. And I would literally go, turn around, and then come back and say, yeah, what can I do for you? And they'd be like, I just told you I wanted to speak to corporate. I'm like, well, considering I own this store and my partner owns the other store, I would consider us corporate if we were a corporation. Oh, so that's how it's going to be? Yeah, that's exactly how it's going to be. I used to have this nifty little sign above the menus that said, the customer's always right until they're absolutely wrong. Don't be rude. We won't care. I added the second part. The first part, I found a restaurant, or a sign at this restaurant depot place. I don't think it was called that, but it was, maybe it was. If I remember correctly, it was off the 101 in Arizona. But long story short, I don't fucking fuck with those people. But nah, I can't stand Pearl Jam, and you know that. I do like some of the Seattle stuff. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, yeah, I did have a grudge against grunge, if you will, wink wink. But that's because thrash metal was finally, and hardcore was finally starting to be respected. And I was getting at that age where I could be in one of those bands and actually go out there and hopefully become something. And then this fucking song showed up. I don't know. I don't remember how to play it. I fucking don't care to. The weird thing is Nirvana themselves, I don't like their music. I don't like them as a band. I don't think Kurt Cobain's a genius by any stretch of any imagination. I think a lot of people put these labels on creative people who passed before their time. Him, I would not. Yes, he did some unconventional things on the guitar, but that could also just be because he never really learned to play proper. I've heard interviews with his guitar teacher, and they sound competent enough. And even they commented on it, like Kurt Cobain would just come up with these things that theory-wise and music-wise just wouldn't jive, but he made it work. And I guess in a way you can consider that genius. You could also consider it ignorance, because a lot of times ignorance in creative being can produce, accidents, happy accidents. Is that genius? Maybe, maybe not. But though I don't like Nirvana and I don't like their music, Nirvana Unplugged is one of my favorite albums of all time. How fucking weird is that? How fucking weird is that? I absolutely adore that album. Although I liked a lot of the Unplugs. The only one I didn't truly like was the Eric Clapton one. I don't know why. It was just, he played well. The music was fantastic, especially when he played Tears in Heaven or whatever. But I don't know. I loved that Neil Young had a really good one. Fuck, even Alice in Chains had a really good Unplugged. I don't know if it was the same series or not. It might have been. Very MTV Unplugged. But like they played, what did they play? The very first song, and they came out piece by piece. Oh, what song did they play? Chase Misprinted Lies. Oh, what is the name of that song? I know it. I like Alice in Chains. I'm a fan of the music, but my brain sometimes forgets things, so. But yeah, what a great fucking song. But they came out one at a time, and it built up this thing. And a lot of people, like therapists and shit, will react to that, and they'll fucking sit there and be like, "Yeah, he was hurting, he was hurting really bad." And the song itself didn't help either, or maybe it did. I don't know. A Nutshell, yes, thank you. Oh my God, it was burning in my skull. That Weird Al version is good, though. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I'm just saying that I went from wanting to fucking play this to... And every fucking band I was in wanted to be like... Ooh, can you guys hear the guitar well? Violation. I'm sorry, I didn't even call you out, man. Violation Entertainment already in the chat, fucking hanging out, gabbing with me from Australia way. Thank you, dude. You're like a staple here now. You know what I mean? You're more of a staple than fucking I am. Honestly, Violation Entertainment has done more for my channel than I probably ever have. Turn that up. Yeah. Ooh. That churns the guts and makes you want a freaky deaky. What movie is that? Oh my god, my headstock just fucking creeped me out. I thought it was someone peeking out from behind the blanket. Oh my god. I swear to god I haven't been on the porch smoking at all today. In fact, I barely got on here. I fixed the laptop. I haven't even eaten today, guys. I haven't fucking eaten today. But you know what I ate last night? I haven't had this in so long, and I shouldn't be eating shit like this guy. But I have my physical coming up on the 11th. My blood sugar and everything. I'm probably way overweight. My mental health has fucking made me give no shits about anything. And I hope they can at least appreciate that. But I'm doing better. But I had a hankering for something with chili, and I didn't have time to make chili. So what I did was, I got tater tots and overcooked them, and then poured chili and cheddar cheese and onions on the top of it. It's kind of like Frito pie, but with tater tots. That's what us poor kids did anyway back in the day. Fuck yeah! I'm a pretty big Frank Zappa fan, so I understand leaving people alone with whatever music they prefer. Whole life is one big porch. It really is. Your whole life is one big porch, huh? Always in a cloud of trees, smoke. Frank Zappa, though, I don't honestly know a lot about his music. God, I worked at this place called Pocket Guitars, and there was this one kid, a little bit younger than me, and he was like a diehard, constantly trying to force feed it to you in a positive way. Frank Zappa is responsible for so much rad music, not just coming from him. But he gave us Steve Vai. And can you imagine Steve Vai's going to come fucking audition for you or play with you? And this guy with the fucking weird mustache and the hair looks at you and says, "This is Steve Vai he's talking to." You got talent, but you sound like a ham sandwich. In other words, saying you got talent, but there's no substance to what you're fucking playing. And had Frank Zappa not said that, maybe we wouldn't have gotten... Oh, I fucked it up. Fucking love that song so much. Yeah, I'm not going to play any more of that, but I fucking love Steve Vai. Speaking of Steve Vai, you know what I found in my pile of shit? A buddy of mine went and saw Yngwie Malmsteen, and he asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, nah, fuck that dude. Fuck that dude. And he got a pick from him. He got a pick. The guy threw out a pick. This is back when I was in Arizona. I guess he played the Marquee. Anyone from the Arizona area knows exactly the place I'm talking about. But he brought me this just to be a fucking punk. Yngwie Malmsteen uses fucking rocks for picks. This is a fucking huge pick. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna play Steve Vai with a fucking Yngwie Malmsteen pick. No, I don't like it. Or should I play some neoclassical? If anyone wants a fucking Yngwie Malmsteen pick, let me know. Oh, man. So what is everybody up to this afternoon? I don't really have any... I barely got on today. Anyone who's coming in, I had to repair my laptop. Apparently the Wi-Fi card was fucking... It was acting like a douchebag. So I opened up the back and said, look, stop being a douchebag. I pulled it out, cleaned up the thing, put it back in, made sure the fucking antenna wires were good. Played around. There's like this little, like barrel-looking thing on the end of the... I moved it around. Got it done. Yngwie Malum Creep. Playing what I have since dubbed Madame Leota. You know what's funny? This guitar here is like it's not just a beginner guitar, but it's like the lower echelon of Fender's beginner guitars by their brand Squire. It's the Sonic series, ironically, because I love fucking Sonic, right? It's the Sonic series, which replaced the Bullet series, and I think they changed the name to, kind of get with the times, if you will. And I've just been intrigued by the color. I wanted to turn this into a Haunted Mansion thing, and my plans kind of got thwarted, but it's fine. Because what I ended up with is probably, like, I go between this and the Dog, back and forth, what my favorite guitar to play in my house is. You would think it'd be the Kramer I had when I was a kid that I still have. Well, I repurchased that model and make, and same color and everything, exact replica. It's not really a replica, it's just another one in the line, but you know what I mean. But aside from the pickup and changing the string gauge, which I do have a set of 9s I'm going to put back on here, I feel like the 10s are okay, but this shipped with 9s, and it changed how it felt. So I am going to be putting the 9s on once these strings need a good swapping. I'm not going to waste these strings, But I can't do a proper setup because I don't want to, file out the nut for size 10 gauge strings, which are thicker than the ones that it's shipped with, just to put those other ones in for the strings to fucking be floppy inside of it. But I think when these came out, they were $199. Now they're about $230 or something like that with all the shit that's, gone on in the past however long. It's an Indonesian-made instrument, and I fucking love it. I mean, is the quality of wood there? It's okay. It's wood. It's holding up. It's very white wood, as we call it back in the day. I guess it's better than green wood. And there are a lot of processes that are kind of negated because of time and money. Like the neck barely has anything on it. It's got like a sealer on it, but that's about it. The fingerboard is a product called Laurel, which is beautiful in itself. I would prefer rosewood. Think of like a chocolatey wood color with a slight hint of like gray in it, almost like rustic. It looks really nice. I bet you it would look really nice on a natural body. And the body wood, they say it's, I think they say it's alder. But I think it's more of the stuff called acumbe, which is a substitute for mahogany. But regardless, the point I'm trying to make is this guitar was $230. And the only thing I've really done to it is I added a Seymour Duncan pickup, which is a premium brand of this type of electronic component for you non-guitar cats. And it rings out, it sustains, it's clear. I mean, the pickup has a lot to do with that. But as far as the sustain and everything, that's the guitar. I have all the, I'm going to get my tuner going here. I have all the stock hardware unaltered. I've adjusted the neck, and I think I moved one or two of the saddles forwards or back for intonation reasons. In fact, I have to intonate the G string again. Don't laugh. That's a real string. And I don't really down tune. Once in a while I'll go in a drop D, but I stick with 440. Listen to that fat G chord. Then I'll go into a D chord, which is typically not a fat chord. Nice E. Just wonderful. Proving to all the guitar snobs out there that you don't have to spend money to get something that plays and sounds good. If it's inspiring, who gives a fuck what's on the headstock, right? Who gives a fuck what it says on the back as far as where it was made? Because let's face it, today, with CNC machines and everything, China can make something just as quality as an American-made thing. Of course, again, the components and everything are going to be lesser of quality. But most guitars coming out today, sub $500, are fantastic modding platforms. I would only recommend that if you like modding, or if that particular instrument has features that you're looking for that's not on, like a finish. Right? I know Fender uses this finish on a few of their Squires, but let's say they didn't. Well, then this would be the guitar I got if I wanted this finish on a Telecaster style guitar. And, I would upgrade all the parts. But I don't even know if I want to upgrade. I wanted to upgrade the saddles to like maybe Graphtec or something like that, something like substantial. I don't know if I want to do that. It sounds and plays so good, I don't think I want to fuck with the formula at all. Hence why I'm probably going to go back to the, what do you call it, the 9-gauge strings. The only thing I really do want to change are the tuners and the nut. I want to eventually either get a Graphtec or a bone nut and have that professionally, done. I haven't built a nut. God knows how long. I have a nice brass nut it's slotted, but it's not set for any gauge. I don't want to put that on here. I got another guitar that's going to go on. But regardless, man, this thing is fucking, it's $230 brand new now. Put a few bucks into it. Bob's your fucking uncle. Howard, another guitar guy. Howard has some pretty fucking cool guitars, man. Every now and again, dude will go on, although I haven't seen you on Facebook lately. Have I? But Howard has a really, really, and I'm thinking of the right person, right? You got the Eddie Van Halen style thing going on? With that one Super Strat you got? You know when I fell in love with Telecasters? There was a time where I got married. I got married to the love of my life, my high school sweetheart, the mother of my two wonderful daughters. We went to Mexico for our honeymoon. We went to this place called Playa del Carmen or something like that. Somewhere near Cozumel. I can't remember. All I remember is going to a place called Senior Frogs. And because we were with our, our resort was all inclusive, and there was like a person there that was like your handler, I guess. And if you wanted to do activities that were outside the resort, you would go to them and they would give you the schedule of shit to do that day. Like one time we went riding horses through the jungle onto the beach. And if you wanted to fucking gallop hard on the beach like a fucking, whatever. And of course we did that. My now ex-wife fucking loved it, and I got into a fucking physical altercation with the horse itself. It didn't want me on its back, and I absolutely wanted nothing to do with being on its back. And he started like nibbling on my fucking foot, and he would walk into the bushes, and my legs got all fucked up. And then at one point, he tried to lay down while I'm on him. So I gave him a sock on the back of the neck. I'm not proud of it. I was young, dumb, and full of cum. So, but I can admit my wrongdoing. But after that moment, him and I mean, I don't think I even fucking, I was like a gnat. He could have just went, you know. But, fuck, why was I talking about my ex-wife? God damn it. We're talking about guitars. Oh! We were at this bar called, one of the things with that handler guy, he's like, you can go to this bar if you want to just go. They have live music. It's called Senior Frogs. And if you give me $20, no, what was it? It was like, I think it was $20. Give me $20 now. It is open bar for you the whole night. We'll give you a special bracelet, and that's all you need to do. Just go up to the bar and ask for another drink. Be a nice guy and tip. And god damn it, did I take fucking full. Captain Blackbeard! What's going on, buddy? Nothing. Just hanging out. I used a Dino Bite. A Dino Bite? For what? Long story short, we were there. I was getting fucking loaded. I mean, I was ripped. Having a good time. Like, the party was so good. Just one chick, like, every now and again, they would stop the band, and they would have, like, activities on the stage, and these 4 chicks are up there, and they had to do, like, a shot and a beer and get hit and all this stuff, right? One chick fucking puked all over herself in the stage, just embarrassed herself. The party was so good, she went back to a resort, cleaned her ass up, and came back. But the point I'm trying to get to is, the reason I love Telecaster so much is because of that trip. I don't know what it was. Maybe because I was a fucking ignorant, stupid white boy from Boston. Thinking that if I go into Mexico, I can find a guitar shop and get something dirt cheap. You know? And I did find dirt cheap guitars, but they were the ones that had like nails for frets and pieces of shit. I've never heard of Dino Bites. Nice, man. I'm going to have to look them up. EVH pickups are cool. Yeah, you know what I want to do? I want to try Kramer, which is Gibson, has a pickup. I think they called it Eruption or something like that. I want to try that in my Striker. I really do, but I don't know if I want to fuck with the Striker at all. Maybe get it for another guitar, but long story short, I walked up to the band when they were on a break. I'm like, do any of you guys speak English? And the singer did, but the rest of them didn't. And I said, are there any guitar shops where I can get like decent instruments down here? And he says, well, my guitar player is selling his Telecaster. Do you want to have a look at it? And again, metal, thrash. I'm like, I guess. And it was what you think of as, you know, a classic Telecaster. It was a blonde and maple neck and, you know, the 2 single coils, and it looked awesome. And coincidentally, they are made in Mexico now, most of them. You know, I mean, there's still American vendors, but the next best quality is, in some cases, if not better, are being built in Mexico. I love Mexican Strats. I just hate the sound of their pickups because they're still using ceramic, and they have this weird construction where they have the slug coils, and then they put the 2 magnets going on either side of them. And I don't know if that does anything. I prefer my slug coils to actually be the magnet themselves. Maybe Alnico, you know what I'm saying? But long story short, I said, all right, well, hit me up with the guy, you know. So we talked back and forth through the singer, and then the guy said something, and the singer looked at him, and he looked at me, and he goes, do you want to try out the guitar? I'm like, well, how am I going to do that here? He goes, well, we're going to be going back on in a few minutes. Why don't you plug in with us? Do you know any of these songs? And he gave me a list of, because they were playing cover songs. And oh my God, my wife came back from the bar, and there I am. Jamming the blues. And she's like, oh my God, only you could come to another country, get fucking shit-faced out of your goddamn trees, and end up on stage with some random band with a bunch of people you can't even communicate with. And I said, aha, woman. That is the language of fucking music. We played Roadhouse Blues. We played, I think we played a Metallica song. We absolutely played Enter Sandman, which was weird with a fucking Telecaster, but you know. Oh, I kind of went a little too far there. That's how I would have played it. That flatted fit, that evil chord, the devil's interval. But that was the day I fell in love with Telecasters. Just jamming with some random dudes who I don't even remember their names. I ended up not buying a guitar. It was a little more than I was looking to pay for it, but it was a nice guitar. It was reasonably priced. He only wanted like $500-600 for it. And I was just like, you know what, I'm going to pass, but thank you so much. I had such a great time. My wife was legit mad because she was all by herself on the stage. I said, you could have pointed up and said, that's my man. Oh, well, what are you going to do? Howard says, EVH pickups, I'm not even going to try to fucking, whatever those fucking, that word is, killer guitars and dynamite, but you think it's killer pickups, and I'm not sure. So I just refer to them as Dino Bites. Okay, I get you. Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck that is, but I am going to copy those two words. I'm going to paste them in my Googles. Give me a second here. Japanese musician. Okay. Wow. Okay, cool. Cool. Let me pull this up so I can see everything. Oh my God, Captain. Thank you so much for the $5. Creep it real, he says. Got my taxes back and getting a shirt. Aw, dude, I really appreciate it. It's black bread. Like crumbs, by the way. Oh, is it really? It is. You don't say. You know what? I think you're full of shit. I think this is a Mandela effect. No, I'm just fucking with you. Dude, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate that, man. Let me hit that lovely heart button next to it to show my gratitude. But black bread. My bad. Two things. One, I'm a fucking idiot. Two, I say this in every stream. My laptop is here when I'm working on projects like this. I'm still waiting for a few more bucks so I can get one more layer of fucking silicone on here. But I got plenty of liquid plastic to pump out 10 of these. And once that happens, it's game over. You guys want to see another one I'm making? I know you guys have seen these 100 times. But this one could be used as a Star Wars thing, or maybe the Hall of Justice. I don't know. Your reptile or small creature is going to have to decide that. So that being said, there's shit all over my laptop. Hence why I probably had to open it up. Actually, there was nothing inside of note. There was just dust. And then in the crease where the bottom seats onto the main body of the laptop, there was a little schmutz. I might have dropped a soda next to it and may have gotten a few splashes. But overall, the inside was surprisingly clean. The fan, hardly any dust. I do a lot of sanding over here. How the fuck does that happen? I don't know. Maybe my Acer, I don't know what the fuck this thing's called. It's an Acer something Spirit. I don't know. It was bought at Target. It wasn't but $200-300. But it's got memory. It was way on sale. It was dropped down from like $500. So yeah, from Japan, I'm seeing that. I have my Google search up and ready to rock and roll, and I'll look at it. The first picture is this fucking Star guitar that looks like it was made out of Home Depot wood, which I'm a fan of. That's fucking rad, dude. That's fucking rad. I think Trogley has looked at one of their guitars, to be honest with you. I think Trogley has fucking done one of his signature guitars. Time to reply to this super chat. So how do I do that? I want to actually reply to him, man. I don't know. But Black Bread, thank you so much. I can't thank every one of you enough when you guys do little things like that. It means a lot to me. And you know what? I don't even expect it, nor do I. I have it there because, yeah, I could use a few bucks whenever it gets to me. But it's funny. I go into other streams, and you'll notice there'll be like this And it won't happen on my stream for two reasons. One, whatever. I have fun with you guys, but I don't truly offer anything. Don't say, no, you do. I understand the camaraderie part of it, but like Intellivision Gamer truly offers knowledge and information and product, Me, I come on here, we have a good chat, maybe we'll play a game, I got my guitars, I fucking snap my bean, everybody's happy. But you'll see, like, there'll be like a fever of people doing that DJC stream. Once somebody really starts it, like I think I watched DJC pull in like $120, or maybe it was Intellivision Gamer, $120 or so in super chats. And it was one of those things where people were trying to one up. Oh, you know what? I think the one I'm talking about is DJC when he used to do he would have to take a shot of something every time you guys threw money at him. Actually, I think it was that. I think you guys just wanted to watch him fucking die of alcohol poisoning. Fuck you, DJC's he's a national treasure. Yeah, I watched the stream last night. I got in there wicked late. Sorry, there's something on my mold here. It's fucking bothering. Okay, there it is. It's all gone. It's like this little black dot. I don't need anything fucking with that. But, oh, and by the way, you didn't have to give me a super chat to fucking correct me on your name, by the way. You could have just fucking said, hey, stupid. But again, I genuinely appreciate it. And I'll fucking keep talking about it just to make sure you understand how much I give a fuck. But, yeah, it's I don't know. It surprises me every time, and I can't stress how much I genuinely appreciate it, I probably won't see it for a couple of months, but that's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Creep. That looks like the entrance to Luke Skywalker's home on Tatooine. I was watching YouTube last night. Yeah, that was the idea. It's supposed to be kind of like a Tatooine or Star Wars inspired hut. I am going to give it a texture. I am going to give it texture with a mixture of Mod Podge and sand. Or I actually have a huge back of silicon gel, really fine silicon gel, which I actually used on the skull mount to look like, and I did it real heavy. This would be light. Like I'll put Mod Podge on there, and I'll kind of like just snow it on there, sprinkle it, and just so it looks like it's made out of Earth material or Tatooine material, if you will. But it all started with, I've always wanted to do one, and it was literally just going to be this igloo shape. But then we got these pieces that are on the side. Were packing material. It came on a big thing, and it was folded under, and there was a book between the insides of both of these. Now, why is it shaped like this? I don't know. So, in a way, it's kind of like Tatooine meets Hoth. This kind of reminded me of Hoth, like a generator of some kind of sort. But ironically, we got, let me go grab it real quick. We got more, but I got others too. That I think I am going to make into another one in the future, obviously, because I only have time to make so many, or materials to make so many of those to get launched. But once I get launched, and if it starts becoming successful, I'm still gathering materials. But this is what the sides of that looked like initially. And I still have these pieces from the ones that are on there, which will eventually be used somewhere else. But you see, there is a texture to it, too. I'm going to leave that the fuck alone, and I'm going to put that grainy texture all over the igloo style of it. But we got this one today, too, or the other day, too. And these are a little different. This has 4 of these little ribs instead of 3 like the other one. And then this has, like, just somewhat of a different shape. In fact, I am almost apt to maybe take molds of these shapes. Fuck, I bet you I could offer those to kit bashers. But, like, this is interesting. Tell me that's not interesting. The texture on that and the shape. Preformed shapes that I don't have already that could perfectly fit on, like, the side of a building or a vehicle. Or, I don't know, whatever I decide to make, whether it's a hide or not. Who fucking knows? What are you talking about? What's a hide, Chris? It's a little thing that reptiles like to go into, like little, they call them hives. They're like little homes for creatures. It's a company called, hold on. Is this the right one? Yep. Reptile Haunts trademark. I haven't registered it or anything yet, but that's the business I've been working so hard to try to get going, and I'm hoping by spring to have enough product to actually launch. I was going to work on a website today, using Wix, I think, but I don't know how to lay it out. I don't know. I don't even have product. I have a list of. This is my idea book. Oh, maybe I didn't write it on this. Maybe I wrote it. Oh, you know what? I put it on a piece of paper to transfer to the book, but I have the basic structure of the page, like in words. You know, I want these pages called these. Like, you know, the home, about, products. And, of course, once you go into the products, I want to do it by size. And then, you know, here's the horror ones in these size. Here's the sci-fi ones in these size. I want to do a gallery for the people who purchase them. And the idea there is, you know, I mean, show me your hide with your little creature, but I'm selling most of these as kind of a DIY paint thing to keep the costs down. But I will offer pre-painted ones at a little bit more of a premium. But I want to see what people do with it, you know, because how I paint it may be so far off from what other people paint them, you know. They could go totally hippie on it, you know, pinks and greens and blues and, you know, real big bubble character-looking things and, you know, whatever the fuck. But that's this right here has been my fucking goal for the past however long. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because Captain Black Bread, sometimes I just don't see the screen very well because there's fucking shit splattered on it. And it's solidified stuff like resin, you know. So for the 100th time, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate that. $5. Fucking hell, yeah. Violation says, every super chat unlocks a glimpse of the famous Bruce Tree. Oh. Well, considering that this super chat, you see where I'm going here? Bloop. This super chat actually had a purpose, and it was answered. I can't show you Bruce Tree for this one. I'm just kidding. I'll show you Bruce Tree. Hold on. I'll show you Bruce Tree. He's out of the way right now. Oh, God, I'm doing this with 3 fingers. Unfortunately, Bruce Tree is in his ICU greenhouse, so I can't really, I'm not taking it off to show you. I mean, I was going to say, even if you give me a super chat, I don't want to risk it. But I mean, if you gave me a ridiculous super chat, of fucking course I would. But why would you give me a ridiculous super chat to go look at something that you can just go outside and look at? You may not have these particular trees in Australia. But I assure you, Mr. Violation, you do have trees. I've never been there, but I'm pretty sure you have those long sticks with things that stick out of them, right? You have to. Do you guys have cacti down there? Like we did in Arizona? I'm not asking that to be ignorant either. I just thought of that. You guys are like a desert spot on the planet. Do you guys have cacti? I know you don't have saguaro. That's like the state tree in Arizona. I remember the first time I saw the bones of a saguaro. It's literally like these real porous sticks of wood. If you look at a saguaro, like if you take the cylinder shape of it and look at it like this, it's ribbed for her pleasure all the way around. And those ribs are actual fucking like wooden stock. So it's technically a tree. And I remember my brother-in-law showing me that because he had a saguaro that died in the back of his, or maybe he got hit by something, regardless. All these little wooden things were poking out. I'm like, I didn't know these things had wood in it. He's like, yeah, how do you think cowboys fucking made fires in the middle of the desert in those movies? And I know he was joking, but it made sense. It made sense. I'm like, oh yeah, how did they get fucking campfire wood in the middle of the desert? Holy fuck. Swirls. Oh, creosote. Those burn pretty well. And they're everywhere. How about that new Megadeth album? I think we already talked about it. I don't want to go deep into it. I think it sounds very sterile. I don't think it was a very good send-off, but you know what? The dude's he's a senior now. They're all seniors. All right, I want to take a vote. When it comes to the metal bands that we grew up watching, are you interested in seeing them as senior citizens up there playing? I'm not. And it has nothing to do with me being ageist or anything like that. Even a little bit, but it's like the metal I enjoyed was when we were all young and everyone had the energy and that vibe, you know? Metallica just doesn't have that vibe anymore. And it's fine. The evolution of age and maturity and all that stuff. I'm not picking on it. I'm not saying it's the wrong direction. But I went from James Hetfield being fucking crazy angry all the time to him going, I feel good, do you feel good? The Metallica loves you, baby, and all this love stuff. And it's just like, I'm good with it, but that's not what I fell in love with. So seeing them live now is a completely different experience than when I used to go see them live back in the day. God, their peak era, I think, was during the Justice tour. James's peak was during Justice. Absolutely. Good stuff. Black Album. A lot of great stuff, as far as attitude and everything. At that point, too. Album was cool. A lot of people don't like the Black Album. I think it's a horrible departure from before. But again, people grow older. They mature. The tastes are a little different. Maybe their hands just don't want to do the same thing, and you can't do the same thing all the time. And you get fucking bored. So I dug, Wherever I May Roam is a fantastic song. The other one there, Sad But True. Fucking fantastic. Lyrically, these are great fucking songs. Never mind the music. Lyrically, they're incredible. Well, if you compare them to Motley Crue, they are doing great. Motley Crue, man. I used to beat up kids that wore Motley Crue shirts. Something like that. Yeah, I could not get into that stuff. Although Motley Crue has a couple of really good jams. I think Mick Mars, that's his name, right? That's what he calls himself anyway. I think he's a fantastic guitar player. And I think honestly, between him and Vince Neil, I think they were the stars. Yeah. Mr. Fucking Tree Trunk Prick could play drums. I don't know about Nicky Sixx so much as far as a bass player is concerned. I never really studied him. But from all accounts, he wasn't even much of a bass player at all. I don't know. Either way. But Tommy, he's a good drummer and all. But I mean, please no drummers get mad at me. It's very rare that the drummer really makes the band. Honestly. Rush comes to mind in one of those cases where the drummer made the band. Slayer, in the early days. The drummer made the band. Metallica? Absolutely not. That was all James Hetfield. And Cliff. But, I think Mick Mars, he was a fucking fantastic guitarist. And I think between him and Vince Neil's stage presence, beauty, and of course those fucking high-pitched, shrilly chops, I think that's what brought them, that and all the fucking weird satanic imagery. But Mick Mars is awesome. He really is. Tommy Lee is one of my favorite drummers. Right on, dude. I can appreciate that. He's not a bad drummer. I love Tommy Lee on drums. But like you said, he got bored. Oh, man. Nicky Sixx is like the modern-day Sid Vicious. How so, buddy? I have no idea how that... Yeah, Dave Lombardo, he was fucking awesome, dude. It's funny, we were talking about earlier How do you go from Dave Lombardo to that? I will tell you, children. I will tell you. My school didn't give a shit about anything except for making sure kids got arrested if they broke the law and just screaming at you. When we were in high school, I don't know how your school was, but our teachers didn't give two fucks. It was always on the fucking alert for bad stuff happening. People always getting yelled at, and that one random teacher that would take you under their wing. But like stuff like rock, metal, and that stuff, there was nothing. There was no music programs aside from chorus and the jazz band, which I constantly got approached for. And I fucking wish I had done it. But I didn't, because I didn't think it was cool at the time. I love playing jazz stuff now. Jazzier stuff, anyway. And before we go, what I'll do is I got a video in here somewhere of me playing a jazz jam. I'll play it here on the side, and we'll sign out so you guys can hear, I guess, some of my earlier chops. I don't know. It's an old video. And I'm playing it on a fucking Chevelle, if you know guitars. But there was a small pocket of us musicians, and we really wanted to do a little bit more of a metal thing. And they didn't do things like, the kids got up on stage and there was no fucking talent shows. There was none of that shit. So we approached the administration and said, we want to put on a concert. We want to do something. All these other fucking groups get to do shit. And they said, fine. We'll do under a couple of conditions. One, you have to tie it to a charity that the school typically uses. Two, we have to vet what you play. And three, it can only be between 2 blocks and you have to pay for it to go into the charity. And that's the charity thing. So they forced us to charge everyone $2 to come in during the last 2 periods of school on that particular day. And we were to play 5 songs. 5 songs. And one of them was November Rain. No, I'm sorry. That was a completely different time. I'll tell you that story afterwards, too. So we gave them a list of songs instead of playing for them. Said, these are the songs we're thinking about playing. And they said no to all of them. There was a couple Slayer. There's a few Metallica. There was I think Megadeth was on there. I think In My Darkest Hour, which at the time I didn't know how to play. I didn't know how to play it, and I don't even think I could play it now without having to, refresh myself with a lesson. But they said no. So the kid who was on keyboard, which is more of a modern guy and really liked the alternative scene and all that, came up with a list of songs, and When I Come Around was one of them. And we're like, fine, all right. At least we'll get to do something. Maybe this will mature into something else, right? So we played the first song, which I don't remember what it was. We played the second song. I don't remember what that one was. And then we get to When I Come Around. Here's Chris. No, wrong one. Oh, the second song was Heart Shaped Box. And I got a Gibson Explorer, the 80s one that everyone wants now because of James Hetfield, but mine was black. I always wanted a white one. Was never able to make it happen. And we're about halfway through it, and I looked over at the drummer, and he's shaking his head to me. He's like, this sucks. I heard him. This fucking sucks. This is not what I wanted to do. And I'm like, nah, me neither. And he looked at me and went, Black Magic. And I was like, yes! So then he stopped playing and I stopped playing and everyone just started looking at us. Everyone was just starting to look at us. And then he did the whole and I was like, I kind of paraphrased it all, but we started playing Black Magic, and I even fucking cranked my amp higher than it had ever gone at that point. This very one right here. Well, that model. Teachers lost their mind. Kids were fucking throwing shit all over the place. There were snacks there. There was fucking cake flying. Me and the drummer just going nuts. The rest of the kids were like, what are you doing? We were just like, yeah. And the teachers came over and unplugged my amp. Just came over and unplugged my amp and then was like, nope, no more of this, guys. Technically, I fucked it up. I fucked it up just a little bit, but they ended up doing it again the next year, and that's when they were playing November Rain. I'll tell you about that here in a second after I get to all this fucking chat. Oh my god! But yeah, that was that was so fucking funny. The other guys are so mad. We did it for Amnesty International. That was one of the school charities. So we called it Jamnesty International. Pretty clever. Mick Mars was awesome. Tommy Lee is one of my favorite drummers. Nikki Sixx is like the modern day Sid Vicious. Yeah, I love Dave Lombardo. Okay, we got there. Heard Mick Mars solo album. I dig it. I haven't heard it yet. Can't play bass is what I mean. Oh, okay. So I don't know much about Sid Vicious and all that stuff. I know of it, but I'm... Motley Crue songs, and he must know something about bass. You know what? I think Nikki Sixx is one of those dudes that had that presence at the time, though, that Sunset Strip deal. And he had been in a couple of bands before that kind of had a bit of a name, like London. London, people know about London, the hair band scene, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he was in London. But I think he was just more of a presence. He was just more of an attitude, And he's the one who got the talent together. I'm saying I'm not saying that he didn't know how to play at all. But he was probably like a Lars. Lars was fucking shit on drums, but you put him in Metallica, and it worked out, right? I think it was one of those situations. Nicky, wrote a lot of Motley Crue songs. Oh, really? Okay. Green Day, 00000778. Oh, okay. I know what you're doing. Slayer tab. Fuck Slayer tab. Fuck tab, man. I was never very good at reading tab either. Teachers can be assholes. You missed my amazing Axl Rose joke. Did I? Okay, hold on. Let me go back, Violation. I is sorry. They can only compare to Axl Rose via a total of their combined weight. Oh, fires. Shot. Oh. But they ended up doing the whole Jamnesty thing again the next year, but didn't invite me, the drummer, and one other guy. Except the piano kid was like, hey, Carl, the only reason I'm asking you is because I think you're the only capable guitarist in the school. There weren't a lot of us. It was all a bunch of white kids trying to be urban with the rap and all that shit. I'm not going to say the word that was used back then, but it sounded like the N-word with a W in front of it. I didn't use it because I always thought it was a fucking cheesy thing to say. Leave it alone. But he's like, you're the only one I think might be able to pull this off. Can you play that end solo to November Rain where he gets up on the fucking piano and does all the things? I'm like, yeah, probably. And at this point, I had a Les Paul. I had my Les Paul Studio wine red with gold hardware, ebony fingerboard with the trapezoid inlays. Very important to point out those features because not all of them had them. I had traded that Explorer we just spoke about for it at Daddy's Junkie Music in Peabody, Massachusetts. Route 1 South. And I stayed in the back. I put my amp underneath the piano, which was actually pretty bad. That was a bad idea because it started rattling the strings of the piano, and someone went back there and dragged it out and almost unplugged it, like the cord, not the power source. So that was a bad idea, but they wanted to hide the amp, because they wanted... And when they started playing it, what I did is I started walking out the door, and it was luckily you could go out the cafeteria, then you go into this door, which was the fucking the teacher lounge, and that led to another door to come back in the cafeteria. That's where my guitar and everything was. And the teachers let the guys put, because there was 3 different bands that did 3 songs each. and they let them put their gear in there and stuff. So I walked out, went into that room, came out, and my cord was running into that. It was two 20-foot cords with a coupler. And when that part came out, it was like, I came out, I was like, you know, and I just did the whole, I can't remember how to play it, but it was something like, I don't, you know, it's been fucking decades since I played that. But I even got up on the fucking piano and everything and almost fucking collapsed it. And it was so fun. I almost fell off it a couple of times. And I was fucking rad. I was Slash. Even though I really wasn't into that. But that's it. That's my November Rain story. And the teachers were like, we didn't approve him. I was just like, yeah, I win. I win. Teachers can be assholes. You missed my amazing joke. Zing! Yeah, that was a fucking zing, all right, dude. I hate Axl Rose. He could have went down as one of the greatest frontmen of all fucking cocksucking time. But he was such a prima donna. And maybe that was part of it. Maybe that was just part of what made it special. But I was talking about them yesterday to my daughter. How the love of Les Pauls were because of Slash. He brought the Les Paul back. And it's funny, Gibson made a copy of what we call the Appetite for Destruction Les Paul guitar to sell as a replica. Which is funny because the original Les Paul that he used for that album wasn't even a fucking Gibson. It was like a private guitar builder who made it. And probably made it better than Gibson ever would have. And it was such a fantastic instrument. But Gibson overlooked that and said, you know what, we'll reproduce this and we'll start making money off of it now. So, but Les Pauls came back into their limelight because of Appetite for Destruction. And I remember telling my buddy that, I want to get a Les Paul. I've always wanted one, but I didn't have any use for it. And now that I'm getting tired of the whole fucking whammy bar bullshit, I think it'd be nice to have a Les Paul. And he's like, well, my grandfather has one from when he was young. What? What? Am I going to get a fucking Burst, which now sell for like $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, if not higher, in some cases, depending on its lineage, right? Who owned it? Where was it recorded? But he came down with this Les Paul Jr., which at the time I kind of was like, but it sounded great and it played awesome. And I could have had it. It was a 57. A 57 fucking Les Paul Jr. And here I am playing fucking Slayer and Metallica. And as a matter of fact, one riff I actually learned on there was by a band called Malaya Rage. It was called The Witching. Malaya Rage is a great band. They had a song called Bass Motel that was really good. Something Warning was a fantastic on their first album. Their first album had an Indian chief on the cover, but he was a skeleton. It was a thick album. But I fell in love with it. He's like, do you want to buy it from me? My grandfather gave it to me and said, you can do whatever you want with it. And I said, how much? He's like, $200? Absolutely. But this conversation came up after I had given it back to him. So it was like right around the time when we started splitting off with different friends. And we just never made it happen. And then one day I bumped into him at this place called Bickford's. Think of Denny's, but local. And I'm like, do you still have that Les Paul Jr.? He's like, yeah, but my mom dropped a fucking treadmill on it when she opened it up. And it broke the headstock. And I'm like, I'll still give you a couple $100 for that. Fuck yeah, I can fix that. And he's like, all right, well, let me get it all together and all this. And apparently his mom had just thrown it out at that point. And then I looked at him and I said, Jeff, I would never yell at anyone for doing anything with their fucking stuff ever again. Or ever. But why would a fucking 1957 Les Paul Jr. be laying on your fucking floor anywhere near anything that could break? I mean, I saw the pieces of he kept the headstock. Mom didn't find that. Mom just threw the guitar away because it was broken. Oh my fucking God, bro. I didn't realize it wasn't really valuable at the time. I mean, I probably could have gotten a couple grand for it, which is a little bit more than most guitars are going for at the time. But today, they're five-digit money all day long, 10, 20 grand. If depending on condition, and it still had the original alligator case, Are you a Thin Lizzy fan? Not really. Again, not for any other reason than I just never really got into them. Just never came across my cassette player. I think Slash is great, but didn't need the screen and with him. I think Axl was okay, dude. How about a Les Paul Deluxe? I like Les Paul Deluxes. Those are pretty cool. You can get a few lemons in the deluxe lines. But yeah, that and the Les Paul Classics, stuff like that. Okay. I mean, the cool thing about the Les Paul Deluxe is, give me a second here. I'm sorry. I gotta get rid of and then we'll get going here pretty soon. It's a great way to get vintage wood. That sounds weird. And not have to worry about it. Yeah, if you found a Les Paul Deluxe in a specific finish with the mini humbucker still in it, you got yourself a valuable guitar there, but a lot of them were already modified. A lot of them have DiMaggio super distortions in them. That was a real popular modding pickup. And I would love a Les Paul Deluxe that's already been modded and looks like it's been around for a while. I think there's just something about a Les Paul Deluxe or Classic. I mean, they're still Les Paul standards. They just have a few features that are off from the standards, And the reason the Deluxe existed is because that early wave of Les Paul wasn't really like a very popular guitar. It didn't sell the greatest for the longest time. And then what happened was Clapton showed up with a Les Paul, what we call the burst years, the late 50s. And the reason they call them that is because of the cherry sunburst finish that they were known to have. You could get burst or you could get gold top. I love gold tops, especially if they're aged and they're a little worn and some of the gold material has gone green, because they use an actual metal finish. Not real gold, but that will tarnish if the clear coat gets worn away. And all those guitars are made with a nitrocellulose lacquer, which is easy to rub away. I mean, nitrocellulose is a shitty product to put on guitars for protection. But it's so desirable because the way it ages is just so fucking beautiful. And every one of those bursts, some of them don't even look like they had red in them at all, ever. They look like lemon, Some of them went like really dark, like it got hit with a flame. But people started listening to bands like Clapton and Cream, and he came out with Mother Tone. That was a Les Paul. Actually, he started with the 335 doing that. But the Les Paul is really where he did that. And then all of a sudden, this little batch of people like Steve Miller and Joe, he was in the Eagles there. Fucking crazy guy. Always tweaking out. I go to party sometimes until 4. It's hard to leave when Joe Walsh. They came up with Les Paul. And all of a sudden, this resurgence of the Les Paul and how beautiful it really is started coming into play, the late 60s, early 70s. So Gibson said, ooh, let's bring back the Les Paul. Believe it or not, there was a time where Les Pauls weren't even being made. And for some reason, they came out with those little fucking mini humbuckers for it. And it thus brought us to the journey of, eventually, the Heritage series. You have historic, and then you have prehistoric. And then you have the Heritage series of the early 80s, which are my favorite Les Pauls. Those are my favorite Sunburst Les Pauls. I love the Heritage Cherry Sunburst. They are so beautiful, but they ain't quite to 50 specs, I don't think they have the long neck tenon. And I don't think, but the Les Paul Deluxes were pretty much there, but they put the fucking mini humbuckers on them, which are fine. But you can find nice vintage examples. Like, I want a 57 Les Paul or a 57 Telecaster, or a 75, because that's the year of my birth, 1975. I would like a birthier instrument. Preferably a Les Paul or a Telecaster. Preferably road-worn and looks like it's got a lot of blues and whiskey behind it, if that makes any sense to any of you guys. I would like to find one of those that are already modded. There's just something about vintage wood that's already been out there and seasoned that's so expensive. But if you find one of those that someone swapped out for a regular size humbucker or anything, you can get an incredible instrument that has credibility in a collector world that's not going to be too expensive. Maybe one of these days we'll go on Reverb and we'll just look at some of these instruments if anyone's interested. Yeah, Joe Walsh. Not, you are you? Okay, we already did the Thin Lizzy thing. But yeah, I like Les Paul Deluxes. I don't like them as is. I prefer, a nice full throaty humbucker sound or the P90s. But that's the wonderful thing about the mini humbucker is they are in the exact same cavity as a P90. So if you wanted to swap it out for a P90, you absolutely could with very, very, very... All you'd have to do is drill 2 extra holes in the cavity, and that wouldn't affect anything anyway. But one of the biggest reasons they did that was cost savings. Again, you got to remember, Gibson was having trouble. Rock and roll, super stress, all these things were happening. I don't know if you fucking heard that, but the rest of the snow just fell off my fucking roof. Oh, Jesus Christ, that scared the fuck out of me. Whoo! There you go. There's your fucking meme of me getting terrified. That was loud. I hope it took my fucking landlord's solar panels with it. I was like, why can't we tap into that, you prick? But, hey, Off-Grid, what's going on, buddy? But they weren't really committed in building the Les Paul really yet. So what they did was they made some with the P90s. And then instead of a full-size humbucker having to, they just used the exact same line and put different electronics in it. You had same pots, same volume and tone pots, same output jack or input, depending on who you are and what you really give a fuck say. One guitar, 2 different kind of pickups. You don't even have to route out. You don't have to have 2 lines. So they were. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Howard? That was fucking loud. It happened to me the other day, too. I don't know where more snow showed up from, but, ooh, the other side of my house goes right into my driveway, and I already barely can park. Oh, no. Watch, it'll happen tonight, and our car will get fucking crushed. Our Chevy Traverse. Wonderful truck, by the way. SUV. It's not a truck. It doesn't have a frame, but yeah, hey, what's up, Off-Grid Arcade? Not that you guys needed a big, long fucking history on the Gibson Les Paul Deluxe, but you got one. You fucking got one. All right, guys, I'm going to call it there. I need to eat. I haven't eaten anything today. And I got a few things I need to do. I got an appointment tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I need to prepare some printouts and stuff for. Hopefully they'll be good on the other end of that meeting. But either way, thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon. Again, we almost didn't stream, and that's why we're just haphazardly coming on and chatting. I had to repair something inside my laptop. Basically, I reseated my Wi-Fi adapter card thingy-mabobby. Maybe reconnected the wires. I don't know what I did. I unplugged it. I put it back in, screwed the thing down, put it back on. It worked again. So we are here. Guys, thanks as always so much for hanging out. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you're all doing well. And until next time, take care. Okay, hold on. I did, and the light flashed through. Maybe the power lines were arcing. No, there's a window right here. And the sun is beaming on me, see? Shadow. So it was blocking the light. That's what you saw with the flicker. I don't have any lights on. I fucking hate turning lights on, especially during the day. Oh my God, these women I live with. I'll go in the kitchen and the light will be on. And I'm like, there's a fucking gigantic light bulb in the sky on right now. Why do you need this? I'm never going to recover financially from any of this. Glad I made it for a little bit anyway. Yeah, I'm sorry, bud. I usually stop at about 2 o'clock, but we were having a good time with me just not shutting the fuck up. But I have been sneaking in little streams here and there. If you haven't seen it yet, I did a stream over the weekend. Here, you know what? Before I go, let me go into my account and I'll show it to you. I mean, I know you can just go look, but I did a live over the weekend looking at an Intellivision. All right, let me browser. Let's tell the browser what I want you to look at. It's this one right here. Looking at a retail video that Intellivision gave to the retailers that I thought was pretty fun. And I put a link to the actual video itself both in the chat and the comments. Or I should say in the comments. Well, I did do it in the chat too. And in the description if you want to watch the video by yourself without me talking and shit. Go check that out. I think that was a really fun stream. I literally started off by saying, I'm fucking pissed off tonight, so let's do something fun. Or something to that effect. And you guys always cheer me up. That's why I did it, because I knew I needed some cheering up. But I'm going to be trying to do those kind of streams as well here periodically. I got to think of a video for this month as far as what game should I, going back to, hold on, let me go back to the browser and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right here we did, the year of the Atari. So every month I'm going to play one game I hardly ever play or feature. And so far we've done Berserk, but they're popular games. To celebrate the fact that we're in the year 2026, the Atari 2600, the year of Atari, I'm the only one doing it. I don't give a fuck if anyone doesn't like it. We're doing it. So tell me in the comments, not necessarily in the chat, because I may or may not see it later on, what game would you like to see me do? There we go. For this month. I was thinking Hero. Because I don't play Hero like ever. And I'm not very good at it because I haven't explored Hero very much. I don't know why. Again, much like some bands, it just never occurred to me. It has nothing to do with the quality or my like or dislike for any genre. It's more about, it's just one of those ones that, for some reason. So let me know in the actual comments. I'm not fishing for comments or algorithm shit. But this would help me out since I didn't do a fucking poll or anything. What game would you like me to do? And I'll bang it out this week. I also am going to be recording a commentary track for Friday the 13th Part 5 to release on Friday the 13th this month. And we may be continuing on March because there's a Friday the 13th then too. Good things Mr. Poe-Style isn't here. He would say beat 'em and eat 'em. No, I only do those on my Valentine's specials. I did a Valentine's live stream last year and we did those. Beat 'em and eat 'em is one I will not be doing only because I emulate to record games and I don't have the cartridge where I could just plug my Retron in and play. So we just do it through here, and Beat 'em and Eat 'em is a paddle game. I could try it, but we'll play some Atari porn games on the 14th. Oh, that's a Saturday. I don't know if I will be able to stream. Well, we'll do it. We'll probably do it maybe one of the days. Maybe we'll do it on Friday the 13th. Meanwhile, there'll be a video in the background that you can watch Friday the 13th Part 5 with me. So, either way, guys, let me know in the comments what game you'd like to see for this month's Game of the Month, the year of the Atari 2600. And I'll do my best to make you happy. And if not, maybe I'll save it for the ones coming up. Because there are 12 total months in every year. And we've only gone through one. And now we're in number 2. All right, guys, wherever in the world you are, I hope you're doing well. Until next time, take care. Keep it real. Do the fucking shit I'm telling you to do.